Hello everybody, today is December 12th, 2017, and this is Beyond Wisdom, aka Flawed Excuses from Twitter, back with another video, and PUBG is upon us. It is officially launched on the preview program, and it is $30, and if you'd like to pick it up, just go ahead and try it out. It doesn't matter which platform you're playing it on, the S or the X, it's still a hot mess, but it's still a fun game to play. That's why it's in the preview program. But the article for today is referring to PUBG, and it is an article by Sam Byford from TheVerge.com. And the title of the article goes as such: PUBG on Xbox One is even clunkier, but still brilliant. PlayerUnknown's Battleground is undoubtedly the breakout hit of 2017, with over 25 million copies sold on Steam, and Dota 2's record for most concurrent players shattered in its wake. That's not bad for a company's first game, especially since it technically hasn't even been released yet. PUBG is only set to leave early access with a finished 1.0 version for PC this week. PUBG might not be the most conventional Game of the Year contenders. Microsoft's console exclusivity queue couldn't be underestimated. The game comes out today in preview for Xbox One, bringing a legitimate cultural phenom to console players for the first time. In a year that's been a light on significant Xbox-only releases, but this is such a big deal. But neither Microsoft nor developer Bluehole have shown off the Xbox version in action before its release, raising questions on how well it will actually run, despite its rough and ready visuals. PUBG is a highly resource-intensive game on PCs, requiring a powerful setup to play on high graphical settings at a fast frame rate. Is it even possible to adequately reproduce the experience on Xbox One's comparatively weak CPU? As it turns out, PUBG for Xbox One is a compromised port, to be sure, but one that retains what makes the game so raucous and addictive on PC. Just to recap exactly what PUBG is an action game that sees 100 unarmed players jumping out of a plane and parachuting wherever they want to on a vast island. They must arm themselves and fight until only one remains, and the play space is constantly shrinking so that everyone is eventually forced into close proximity. PUBG is conceptually simple, but a psychological complex. Every tiny move you make can lead to life or death decision, meaning that even hiding in a closet could be unbearably tense. It is, in short, a blast. Xbox One, though, it's a much uglier blast. PUBG isn't much of a looker even on a powerful PC, and things have been dialed back a lot for the console release. Textures are blurry and often take a long time to load. I've driven up to what appears to be a giant marshmallow before it reveals itself as a school. Level of detail is used aggressively too, so trees and foliage look so basic from a distance but get more detailed as they come closer. The initial sequence on the plane that starts off every round is particularly conspicuous. As you parachute towards the ground, you see sharp buildings laid atop the Vaseline-smeared landscape. You'll be forgiven to thinking that you're looking into a 1990s flight simulator, not one of 2017's hottest games. This isn't really a big deal though. PUBG has never been attractive on the visuals, and many PC gamers actually run at lower settings on purpose to make spotting enemies easier. The more impactful compromise is in performance. PUBG never runs above 30 frames per second, and that wouldn't necessarily be a deal breaker given the game's slow pace. The problem is the frame rate regularly drops to the 20s or thereabouts, which is definitely not going to help your quest to staying alive when the action heats up. Coupled with an unintuitive adaptation of the control scheme, PUBG feels even less polished on console than on PC. Although PUBG isn't technically an Xbox One enhanced title, it does run better on Microsoft's new console. I played a few rounds last night with my colleague, him on Xbox One X, myself on the original Xbox One. It seems like the game's reliance on dynamic techniques for things like texture filtering and asset streaming allow it to make it at least one of the X's extra power plays. We'd stand together with what to me would seem to be a blurry stone. For example, we trade shots, things that look noticeably better on Tom's end. That said, no matter what, PUBG absolutely is not going to be a graphical showcase for your one, so keep your expectations in check. PUBG is the most brilliantly designed shooters in recent years, and that design remains intact on console. You won't have to be an experienced online shooter fan to fall in love with PUBG. PUBG is still in the Xbox preview, meaning is it considered a finished product and is still under development. None of this is too important if all you want to know is whether you could get much fun out of the preview version for $30 today. The answer is unequivocally yes, and if you don't have a gaming PC and have an Xbox One and hold the slightest bit of interest in finding out why it's become one of the biggest games in the world, you owe yourself a chance to check it out. My experiences with the game so far have been pretty fun. I haven't had really too many issues with the game itself. Like in the article, it says that the visuals are pretty shit, and they are. But visuals mean nothing when the gameplay is fun. But I hope everyone has a chance to pick this up. It's pretty cheap, actually. But as always, thanks for stopping by. Shout out to the Broadband Bullies, and anybody else who wants to stop in to say hi. Well, thanks a lot, and have a good evening.